With the help of God and His forces, we will embark on a short course, God willing, on the issue of evils and on the similarities raised in criticizing religions and in denying the existence of God Almighty, and also in supporting the sharp and even motherly anti-religious trends. Of course, this session will be within 5 or 6 days, God willing, and before starting this session some warnings should be mentioned. The first warning is that this course is somewhat difficult. It kind of needs some kind of attention, meditation, and good focus. It follows that I need to attend a course in my high school, and tell me to record my questions accurately, to maintain my discipline, to be accurate in the information, and also for you to play a role in making my presentation as well, meaning your doubts. All of your serious questions have an impact in evaluating this lesson and making it useful and beneficial. I ask God, may God bless you, for success. Therefore, of course, this research has made you interconnected, meaning that you will not feel the clear answer until the 5th lesson, God willing. As for today, I have suffered from some shortcomings. The days have passed. In a way, we are fighting. Eid has welcomed us even in Halja, but we are building the foundations of an intellectual debate on the issue. Therefore, I am going to mean that we must be patient until we win. We have a good victory. We must have patience until we win. We have a good victory. Naturally, it will be a delayed result. We will often have introductions and clarifications. We may miss some details. You may not even know that this will happen. This means that the answer may not be clear. The relationship may not be clear. God willing, little by little, it will become clear as will be facilitated, God willing, but in general, the results will become clear in the end, good and nice, and this research is based on a general or rotten proposition, presenting the answer of famous scholars, our scholars, regarding suspicious evils. I mean, we are now in the position of presenting the well-known answer in the sect. There are other answers. There is a discrepancy. There is a discrepancy in some of the tributes. This exists. But this is all that exists, we ignore it. I mean, I won't mention that there is this disagreement over this issue. No, we are in the position of stating an answer, which we see as positions for all interested, trustworthy people. Note that we are not in the position of explaining the details and differences that occurred between the two, obviously, God willing, but our answer is what is followed by the famous sect, meaning it is what is followed by the famous sect. This is, in general, some warnings about the course of this cycle. Of course, the suspicion of evils, of course, is almost well known. It is important for you to know how these evils exist in this world. God is just, and God is wise, and God is merciful. How can this be combined with His justice? Wisdom, and mercy, glory be to Him. It is clear that this is the original similarity or something that means a very general perception of the similarity. We will report it soon, God willing, and it is no secret that this similarity is based on the existence of God. I mean, we do not raise the suspicion of evils until after we finish hibernating the existence of God Almighty. However, if it means that we cover up a doubt, we can uncover a problem with the existence of God Almighty. However, if we are clear that it is God's wife, then it is not permanent. We are not with us to search for it. Suspicion of evils is an offshoot of the existence of God Almighty. Hence, the research was not built on a set of taken-for-granted premises. Our research is not in proving it, his knowledge, in its stability, his existence, glory be to him, nor in his knowledge, nor his ability, nor his life, nor his riches. We are worthy of standing. These matters we take as axioms. It is good. They searched in its place. They searched. It has a special place. We take it as a givens. We return to it and build on it. We have a wreath in its sandals, but what is its proportion? What are these hopes? We will describe it and its attribution. He decided it with the meanings of the nouns. Our research is based on a number of the nouns. The first sources are that it has the world as a creator, while it is knowing, able, choosing, and rich, while it is knowing of all things, able to do all things. Chosen. It has the freedom to act, and he is also rich in his existence, does not require anything in his existence, and they are also independent of anything that he needs from his creation, something that does not need their worship and does not need anything from them. These first sources do not take care of this cycle, may God bless it. The Sa'ani sources say that some actions are characterized by goodness and badness in particular. What do we mean by this sentence? Notice with me the most unjust. Forbidden. Is it because the darkest thing is forbidden? Is it worse to play chess, for example? Playing chess. We assume that it is forbidden. Is the situation worse than the situation of chess, for example? And it has a shadow of what the mind should not do. This is what the mind rules, regardless of the observers of my existence. It is a law, and therefore rational people do not disagree about it. It is also absurd for us to have other things of this kind. Betrayal. Betrayal is clear. Aggression towards others. Of course it is aggression. It is possible to return to misguidance. They also condemn things that are good with the mind, for example, being kind to another began to be good to him with something. Likewise, thanking the benefactor. If someone does me a blessing, it is good that I thank him. It is clear that these matters are matters that do not depend on the law. There is a sentence. Of the rulings, there are a set of actions that are characterized by some descriptions. Some of the rulings without the need for a law are the essence that characterizes them. This means that this thing has a great essence that is unjust in itself and is great, regardless of the existence of a lawgiver and the absence of a lawgiver, even if there is no great unjust lawgiver. This principle that says that there are some acts that are characterized by goodness and ugliness by the same essence. This principle is called goodness and mental ugliness, and this is what most rational people say in the simplest terms. The denier does not deny it except with the foul, and all Muslims believe in it except the Ash'aris and only some. The Kharijites do not say it, otherwise the majority of Muslims say about improvement and ugliness. The rational mind rules that this is that injustice is evil, for example, that justice is obligatory without the need for any intervention from a sinner, whether it is a sinner to any that tempts it, it is good. This we call the principle of rational improvement and ugliness, and it is the second source. It has doubts mentioned in the books of speech, and the place of taking and returning is not a place of speech, because we take it in the form of a forfeited, and the delivery is good. We build on only the complete zain of the forfeited. The third, with us, is a forfeited that the human being is a chosen one. We will need to confiscate later that man is chosen and not forced. He has the freedom to act and the freedom to leave. He has the right to act and he has the right to leave. Of course, these sources are sentimental, but his case was found on Oteri. Some suspicions are on it, but it is from what is judged by the conscience and on the love and laughter of each one of us. He is covered with anecdotes in nice verses by Sheikh Muhammad Jawad al-Khorasani, who is the author of a book, a very useful book, Guidance of the Amila, Ma'arif Imam, one of the useful doctrinal books concerned with unity and number only. Behind the Imamate, prophecy, and the resurrection, he says, and there is a problem that if we were chosen, God's knowledge would become, as far as possible, a caliphate would occur. That is to say, there is a similarity attributed to al-Fakhr al-Razi, the thought of which is al-Fakhr al-Razi, who says, "May God have mercy on him," and the suspicion of knowledge is a fallacy. Indeed, in the obvious matter, he debunks the obscurity of conscience and faith, where the choice is seen with the emotional. He does good or is accustomed to doing evil. We blame or blame. We regret the bad and then we apologize. And if we earn virtue, we are proud if we do something wrong. We will complete what is chosen. What is the meaning of this? All this is clear. What does it mean to be proud of your action? If you do something, you go and apologize. Why should you apologize if you are touched? Something clear says and people take actions upon themselves or for them due to the circumstances. Everyone does something wrong by hand and is held accountable. And whoever commits a crime then excuses that God has committed it. He will be forgiven if someone says, God is not, and the suffering of someone is forgiving, and whoever repents with him will be happy. It was said that this is not out of his anger. If someone goes to the mountain, it means someone did something good, and we are all angry with him, so he is angry. He is seeking now. It is not a good thing, and there is nothing hidden in the a priori religion, since the choice has taken place, and whenever livelihoods, deadlines, and grades are differentiated, deeds become better than the grades compared to good deeds in religion, so a religion that is based on the choice as well. This suspicion is dead. The initiator was in his knowledge of foolishness. A similarity to the issue of choice. Zayn, is it from the intuitive reason that foolishness is good? This is what he said, may God have mercy on him, and he was right about that. This is now 3. Confiscation. Confiscation of the existence of God with his attributes. Confiscation of mental improvement and ugliness. 3 confiscations of our choice. Of course, the sources of the second. If one denies mental improvement and ugliness, whether he is a believer or the limit, then it is similar to Rila's initiation with us to her. Where are the problems? So, there is now no suspicion of evils that is not based on the existence of a contradiction between God's justice, wisdom, and mercy on the one hand, and these evils that should not be caused. This suspicion is based on rational improvement and ugliness. Meaning, if evils did not exist and there was no rational reasoning, then there is no room for suspicion. There is no more meaning to the problem because there is no difference between good and evil. God did good and did evil. What would differentiate between them? There is no difference and therefore there is no meaning for an atheist to come, for example, or even an Ash'ari to come. There is no meaning because the Ash'ari responds to suspected evils, just as there is no meaning for an atheist to come and someone who does not believe in rational improvement and disgrace to you, presenting forms of evil to the believer, not with us. For all of that, he made his pronouncement clear because it is based on the fact that evil should not be done, so how about God, so make it clear. But if we say that evil from him, he said, it should not be done from him, he said, evil should not be done, if one is a partner, the ordinary said, what is the Kafrik, Kub Alish, is problematic, without seriousness, then it is clear, let your ears be clear, or originally, this resemblance has no meaning except for the meaning according to the second sources. It is not depicted at all except according to the second sources. It is interesting that the existence of the resemblance is evidence from the evidence that goodness and ugliness are in the minority, so the point has passed. This means that the resemblance exists in humans naturally. This is the meaning that I am deep down telling them that goodness and ugliness are small. Otherwise, they would not have made this complaint clear as a point, meaning, on the one hand, the resemblance to beautification and ugliness, and on the other hand, the presence of the resemblance is evidence of beautification and ugliness, and its falsehood is its origin. These are the sources of the research. We will take them as a given. Whoever discusses them, God willing, we will decide to confront the evils. The suspicion of evils. Of course, it is based on more than one representation of it, more than presenting all the formulations of the phenomenon of evils. It goes back to one joke. A clarification will come. God willing, but the formulations of the phenomenon of evils may differ. The basic idea in the suspicion of evils is that there is a contradiction between you to God on the one hand, and the existence of evils in the world on the other hand. The similarity is talk based on this matter, which you base the suspicion on. You give him various formulations that say to you, we accept the existence of God, but we do not accept its perfection, we do not accept its justice and wisdom, and a witness and proof for us of the prohibition of this submission, and our support for it prohibiting this submission, is the existence of evil in the world. This problem does not question the existence of God, but rather questions forgiveness, but rather questions his wisdom and justice. This is followed, for example, by some people who, when he brought to us the statement, we need to know, we need to know. It means we believe in God, but who is more pious than God? It may be put forward in this context. The questioner may put forward in this context the second formulation that leads to the existence of God, a formulation based on the following. If it were to their existence, they would be just. If it were to their existence, they would be just. But it is better, but there would be no evils, but there are evils if it is not an observable existence. This means that this second approach goes to lead to the existence of God. But how, after evacuating the connection between the existence of God and his perfection in terms of justice, wisdom, and mercy? Of course, you may come up with formulations such as some of the funny ones. You might say that either there is a God or there is a God and there is sweet evil. Either he declares evil and wants to remove it, but he is unable to remove it, so he is incapable and is not a God, or he declares a human being and is able to raise it but does not remove it and does not want to remove it, so he is evil, so he is not a God. So the intention is the same idea. It is the whole idea of being in opposition to God and the existence of the honors of the world. This is the most similar thing, and the rest are different Alsan formulas for Shobha Jit Zain. This is a reduction of the Shobha in a general way. Of course, navigation according to the questioners. Here there is an important logical point. Navigation among the questioners is that they come directly towards the Shobha and they impose it that it is fixed and it means a court. Notice with me on one point, an important point, the issue of who is the one who is on the test. We assume now that the believer believes in God and there is a beginning in the world of demands now according to this similarity. Who is supposed to prove and who is supposed to defend? Who is the one who is on the test? The one who is highly proven is the one who is problematic. He is fair. He is required to be subject to testament. He is required to testify. He is required to testify that there is a contradiction between the existence of evil and justice. To my wisdom, contradiction must be hibernated, for it is imposed on the foundations of accuracy. Accuracy must know justice and wisdom. Justice. Then what is clear is that the existence of evil is contrary to justice and wisdom. But all of this is what settles reality. Shoddy one of enmity is an experience, and Shaphan rushes like the net, and Shaphan Yuza finds the air and walks as if you are what is required. He is encouraged or demanded something. He is first required to hibernate. Hibernate the opposition between justice and wisdom and between evils, and who is the evil in the world, noting that he is the one who is obliged to hibernate hypocrisy. And the opponent to us is those who demand the invalidation of his imprisonment, the protectors of our imprisonment, the justice, our imprisonment, the wisdom. Our imprisonment is all based on our prayers. He comes to question it in a very way in order to cast doubt on the evidence. He must prove the contradiction between the evils of the existence of knowledgeable honors and justice and wisdom. If what is proven, exile is merely an invitation, just an invitation. And the reality, when we postpone what we find as the basis for exile, according to what we have read, is that it means that what is necessary for me is the foundations of improvement and concealment. For the minorities, he must establish for them the improvement of the concealment of the minorities. Then he says that removing evil is a rational duty. Removing evil from the world is a rational duty that must prove its feasibility. Otherwise, it must be balanced by the rational duties that must be proven also. Then he says if there are plans, then the only thing is not the custom of the one who is not wise or who does not exist. He demands only these details, but what will happen is that he relies on the simplicity of these problems. He poses the problem in a way that it is clear, and we treat them with the conscience of the subjunctive verb. It is afraid. I mean, by God, the Almighty, He is the steadfast, and the wise, He is the steadfast. It is supposed to happen. He is satisfied with it and concentrates. But you see, from the side of the one who is heading, Atabishi, there is no love. Where is the exile? I took her captive. What is the problem? Why should God Almighty remove these evils? Why did it appear to us that He is demanding something before this? All you must know is evil. This is what we know. We do not need to know evil. He gives a proverb on the same page. We are separated from this concept. And greetings. Nabu Judah and Taslim Nabkamal Allah collected that, he finds them and walks, otherwise there are questions that are answered in general, there are no solid writings, sober writings, even someone says, for example, Fulan said such and such, and the inscription is that we are not satisfied with presenting the similarity in general, because they are upset. How do they understand it? I mean, Zayn. But we do not discuss the similarity in general, it is good, and we discuss if we fall short in something, meaning in something that if you are tempted by it, I will not disturb you, I will not worry about it without greed. We listen to what is only according to what it turns out that perhaps it is due to my shortcomings, Zayn, and he does not ask for Zayn's shortcomings, and perhaps it is due to shortcomings on my part. It is good that there is something that is shortened with it and it does not mean Zayn in general. Perhaps it is due to shortcomings on my part. Yesterday, an elegy, he says it, he means calling her this. Possibility as a matter of possibility, see, one thing. Reassurance, this is a serious matter. These numbers have called them this field. They may decide something that says it is not valid. We do not bother. I mean, I am tired of writing other people. I mean, in general, it is completely flat. Yes, they have details. They call free sparks and such and such. This is in the locality. I mean, it does not affect the paths of urging. We will make you care. We care, and we care from now on the answer to the similarity. The first point between the confiscations are two, decide, we like it, decide, we like it, an overall report, explaining the center of the problems in it. It is good. Now we go back to the answer of the similarity before the answer of the similarity means pardon. Analysis of the similarity is sufficient in its answer. Analyzing and deconstructing it is enough in its answer. It is good. We will explain some details before we enter into the answer. We mention the introduction to the word evil for its love. What is meant by evil? What is meant by evil? What do you mean by evil? We say that there is a possible meaning, and evil must be differentiated between them. With the meaning of the ugly, and the evil with the meaning of that which leads to harm, for example, it may occur in the tongues. We say, for example, the evil of lying, the evil of betrayal, the evil of Eden. This may apply to the tongue. This is a usage here. What is meant by the evil is the bad thing that is not completely diminished in height, and the opposite of good is the good thing whose height is completely hidden. Like this first meaning of evil and the noble Quran, of course, according to the Almighty's saying of this kind. So whoever does an atom's worth of good will see it, and what he does an atom's worth of good will see. Sharon Yara did something that should be high. You see something that should not be high. You see high ban yumkiha. The second tribulation for evil is what leads to harm. We condemn AI when I say strike Sharon to Zaid considering that it hurts him and harm him. Strike Sharon to Zaid. This is like a loss and Sharon to Zaid also cut off Yazdid. Sharon to Zaid. This is the right to say, for example, he cursed the innocent one. I said this evil is harmful, notice, but on the one hand, it is gone, Sir Zayn, this is good. I congratulate the word beginning. The option brings benefit and harm. The funny thing is that most of the uses of the Arabic language with this meaning are not in the first meaning. Meaning. Perhaps the meaning of the first is the softness found in adhana, but the apparent meaning of the Quran is the second meaning. Your nature is to mention the Quran that has been recited. Otherwise, research has nothing to do with me. For example, my luck, and if I knew the unseen, goodness would abound, and goodness would not reach me in the market. I am blessed with good things, benefit, if it was announced from the unseen, it would increase goodness, because my life is my life. What is the dream of my life? When will my work be activated? When will my life be sold? I will not buy the same, so saying this is good, this is evil, noticing loss in trade is evil, for example, if I know the unseen, and if it is announced to others, I know how comfortable it will be, I will abound in goodness, and my livelihood will not be lost, I will not miss it. Observers. Take note of some examples with me. The human being. He is a creature of terror, if he is touched by evil, he is frightened. And the sparks in the eyes of the law, they are in the same way, because it is known now, an issue, for example, the monster of evil, and from everything that is originally good, it is possible, in reality, that this is for armed with good in the first place, an argument that is good in the first place, ugly, good, but it frightens and is clear yet, and if it is touched by good, it is diverse, and the benefit is intended, even for it, it is this good. For example, it was an example that we assume that it starts with my deviation, and it starts with things that are only good, it is good, so we say Namrat. Is this with the best of two golds? Is this with money that requires benefit? Good, good. They also fulfill our vows and fear us on a day when his evil was widespread. Then he says, Glory be to me. Then he says, Glory be to me. Then he says, May God protect them from the evil of your death today, and he gave them a look and picture. May God protect them from the evil of your death today. That is to say, that day and the harm of this punishment. A significant punishment. A deserving punishment is compounded. Punishment is in its place. Of its causes, it is completely apparent, and therefore our minds are tempted by scholars to call it the question of suffering. What they search for is seen under the headings of even evils. In English, some books, people who understand it say, what is the problem of pains? The issue of pains, the main problem or the source of evil. This pain or loss of benefit. Loss of pleasure. This is good for you. This is bad for you. We see your nakedness, the palms of your fatigue, noticing. We go astray with this expression. They are in an important question. The evils are likened to the evils of what is meant by evil. Is what is meant by evil? The first meaning of it is good, ugly, good. The first meaning of the second, which is harmful and beneficial. The meaning of this main question in the sentence is clear. Glory be to him, the Almighty, he created evil, he created good, and he created evil, as indicated by the narrations, and he is what everyone who praises God will say, and it is not hers, nor will the people. We hardly understand the hadith of God Almighty. He is the one who brings down good and brings down evil, but he brings down evil in its place. In other words, drinking, the first meaning, does not do it. This result will come, God willing, but drinking, the second meaning, God does it. What is established for the punished person is that there is no ugliness in him and there is no problem in him. Evil is not in the first sense. That is why the ancients did not use the word evil. They read with us two questions. The first question is, God does not do evil. The second question is the question of the signs. Yes, he does not do it in the face of evil, but it is possible to do it. There are no problems. The bottom line is that there is no need to revise what is meant by evil. We will talk about the two meanings, evil in the sense of ugly and evil in the sense of harmful. For example, this. The medicine is evil for you on the one hand and good for you on the other hand. This statement is correct. This is true. It is not wrong. Like, God willing, the difference between the two meanings. Of course, someone might dispute, saying that while we are free from the second meaning, it is present in the language now. He is a master of Hanukkah, a helper of a linguist of Hanukkah, because he says to me, he raises the suspicion of evil. He means whether the meaning of the first or the second is one of them. Your pardon. He does not care about what he means. With the third, he left his thought on nothing other than the issue of evil and the issue of the ugly. And the wrongdoer and Malay are obscenities that he does in other things. We will explain it clearly, God willing, in noting that there is a difference between the two meanings. The second meaning of drinking is relative, meaning that you cannot point your finger at something that, to me, is considered, for example, earthquakes to be initiated and others to be sufficient. What do you explain? Did you explain to Jalmuddin, which was broken in the earthquake, what evil it is? Better than another city, if there is an earthquake, there will be an earthquake. Like if it had a major earthquake, we wouldn't know it as Glody. Braid something. If we assume something serious. Like. If we assume that this earthquake is a fate for me, he would have fled to another place, so we say that the occurrence of the earthquake here is better for her than I envy, i.e. like the second meaning is relative, additional evil for Fulan, good for Fulan, but the first is better for Machar. How ugly he is. Notice how ugly he is, Moby, Fulan's quilt, lying, ugly, betrayal, ugly. Notice that there is a difference between the two meanings. The first is that the second is relative. The first is not in this relative. Notice what is in the addition of the second is an additional adornment in what is a dirty job. We were hearing from listening, the evil is the execution of someone, listening, and God willing, the attempted execution is an answer to the suspicion. This is known, unless it means cauterizing someone. Like if we assume an atheist says, why is there an execution? He says that you are suspected, unless he means kick, in al-Badali. He is suspicious of the attempt and says to you that the attempted execution. I am questioning the execution of someone who says, key. But this is an answer put forward by some of the scholars from Al-Falasi, so it is the opinion of the speakers for the sake of saying to see this. Evil because it is formed from the sound of Raha and non-existence, noticing this is the bottom of the answer and this is now dark. The meanings of evil and why does it happen? Among the meanings of evil is non-existence. Therefore, This problem is if we assume that in a planet has disappeared, in what we assume in a planet in a group, what happened would have happened in the event that it did not exist. We assume that it did not exist. If it did not exist, no one would wait for it. My problem with it is that my problem is in nothingness, my problem is in the ugly, and the reason for my problem here is clear, God willing, and the solution is an idea. Take someone to say to Al-Mashma in the cart of our master, nothingness spread in the meaning of nothingness. The answer is short, he created evil in the sense of nothingness in the first place and is not gone. Yes, there is something that evils are nihilistic, meaning these evils in the sense of existing in the minds of nihilistic matters, not existential matters. This is another question, and we are now confused with what is about the Sharbai, according to the report of the similarity, and God bless the clarity, an explanation of what is about evil. Now we proceed to the answer. A long and easy answer. Or, of course, the answer will be through. Tin stage. The first stage is establishing rational rules. The answer is everyone finds these rules. Adhere to them. You will know the answer. The second stage. We apply these rules to the sources of evil, with their meanings and their meanings. It is clear, God willing. 2 stages in the answer. The first stage is to establish the rules. The second stage is to apply rules to the sources of evil. It is clear, God willing. The first stage. Speech in the first stage. We have 9 rules. The first rules according to what you have. Consequence of responsibility on the action. To pay attention and not to connect. What is difficult for the sister? Beautiful. An anchor to the whole easy idea. This idea or this leader shows the source of the responsibility of a person or a crippled person. The responsibility of the chosen one for the actions he caused. When does he bear responsibility for the action? Here is one example. He sent an arrow or shot an arrow and the other was killed. Then in Daki. May God's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. Who bears the responsibility? Archer or arrow? God willing. Are they a bite? Justice. Who shot the arrow? Who bears responsibility? Unless we teach the son of Al-Dasam to hide his skin. And this? Costume or cassette? The archer is the one who bears the responsibility. It is good, but let us assume that the matter is serious, and this is my shooting game. He throws the arrow and does not have an arrow. Come and give me an arrow. Our friend gave an arrow and was killed. Then this one who was given the arrow caused the killing and did not cause it yet. There is no role. But who is the killer? The archer or our friend? Yes, he is a murderer. And the one who is appointed is Ma'in Muqaddil. It is clear. What do you mean as if it is a whisper? I am shaking. So Ma'in is Muqaddil. Wahba does not attribute the killing to me. Yes, metaphorically, it is attributed, but now we have learned the values, the limit of retaliation, we have learned from whom the murderer will be cut down to the point of an arrow, and it is permissible, God willing. The meaning of the text of the rule is that the one who caused the action bears responsibility for the action under 2 conditions. The first is that he turns to the verb. He turns around. This is a poisonous engrammatic method that kills. Finally, the perpetrator bears responsibility for the act under two conditions. The condition of the first is from Taftana because he blamed the Taftanai, negligently, for example or not, such as that he was stuck in someone and the arrow then killed someone. Is he responsible? Is he responsible, meaning a hand? He is more likely to turn around, but in one and he was not negligent in anything. There is no God attributing it. It must be circumvented, meaning it is necessary for us. This may kill. It is necessary. It is clear that it interrupts some of the chasma of some of the Tafur din with the possibility of it. The chosen one, but if we finish it, he caused it through a chosen power that gave someone like an arrow, and that the person and the one who shot and killed, here the murder is not based on the first one who caused it. Yes, it is based on helping because the help has the two conditions for helping what happened through an intermediary, and they realize that this is helping because you're something that is in your line and a good thing according to the resource. It tells you that you give me help, but the killing is not attributed to him, and give him his name. This is the first rule. It is very simple. You see, Wardania, that the action is based on the one who caused it. It is good to pay attention to the action, paying attention to the fact that there is a possible reason that affects this action. This is one name that is. That is, mention the verse and make a connection between it and the verb, then the chosen one does it perfectly. However, if non-optional reasons come together, the verb appears to be amused. This is of course an example of someone turning around like a lone person. She came walking and ran over a job and things fell and so on. She gets to die. This one is called a murderer, but he is not convicted. He does not bear responsibility. He does not bear responsibility. He is punished. He does not bear responsibility for his action. Of course, he may demand compensation according to the law. All of this is ambiguous. This is legal, but the conviction, the mentality is such that if you assume that God Almighty punishes me, then you are interfering in me and blocking the fact that no one accepts before this is an injustice to God Almighty. He does not do it, noticing why, because he did not turn around except that this is what would affect the point. This is the first clear rule. Beautiful. Of course, the whole rule, you don't know why we make it. We mention the rules. Then I saw the application in them, so say, congratulations, I have not gone to paradise, but no. Truly, God willing, like the second rule. The second rule. We will mention something from it and talk about the two dimensions, but in short, in Suk Tiara, the district officials are in doubt. The second rule is the most important rule. The most important rule. In a busy job. This rule is the main idea, and I will live in spirit and not in truth, God willing. Desli yum eder where. Now he will repeat it carefully until we finish. The idea of the second rule says that he who does not do evil does not choose evil. Obviously, God does not do evil. Of course, this rule is necessary for the atheist. It must be accepted by the rule in order for it to form a form. Because Shani says that God existed. Because he was just and wise. I mean, he doesn't do the ugly. If he were just, he would not have created evil. But evil exists. If it does not exist, then in principle this rule is his urgent need in the first place. This means that they are a common party, and he has made it clear from this point of view that he is required to prove that the evil of Kubri's evil will come, God willing. Seriously, adopt me on the principle of saying, if there is something that should not be done, the listener will be honored. Someone will go out as he did, just as my Lord created me. It is clear that someone will go out naked. This is something that is hoped for and that he should not do it. It is correct. If someone has no need to do this act, will someone leave me as money for a new suit? There is no metaphor, even if someone says, if you come up with something new, I will kill you. Just like in any da'i, it is equal to bahasal. If it is chosen, there is no da'i for you. He does this preferred action. What he does is fine. If he does not have a da'i for something, and the thing is preferred, he does not do it. This is what he started with. It is innate. Take a look at yourself. It is complete. What he started with is present with us. If the da'i rises to the preferred action, then a person who does not do this chosen preferred action does not do this preferred action, and if he does. There are meanings in a sheikh who does not care, and make this issue permissible. Or is it this rule if we leave it to the Lord of the worlds, who is knowledgeable of the good and the bad, just, and knows the things that are preferable, and after him, we inherit it from the infinitives, the first of the first infinitives, knowledgeable of the good and the bad, capable of abandoning the bad, after what he has chosen and sung it. We do not need his walk. He only needs the ugly, anything. With an investigation, he finds the truth from the tall, cruel, so the evidence of naughtiness is clear in the ugly. This is a rule that leads him to the fact that he did the ugly, and it is a follow-on to his highest attributes, the attribute of knowledge, power, choice, and wealth, as a result of these qualities. With the application of this rational rule, we discover that whoever does not do the ugly will come, so there will be more clarification. God willing, we will repeat the rule and enter into the rules to avoid this most important good rule, and we will enter into the other rules, God willing, and praise be to God, Lord of the world. Paper, paper, paper.